Hey, what's going on? How's everyone doing? Good to be with you. Today, we're studying Daf Pei Beis of Masechta Shabbos. So, we are completing the 8th Perek of Shabbos, which is awesome, right? Yeah, it is. So, we're completing the 8th Perek of Masechta Shabbos, which of course means that we're beginning the 9th Perek of Masechta Shabbos. Today we will also complete our discussion of going to the bathroom. There are going to be some similarities to stuff that we learned in Masechta Brachos, so it's always good chazara. Cool. Then there's a new Mishnah in the last Mishnah in the 8th Perek, which is talking about taking out earthenware, and then the new Perek begins with Tumah associated with avodah zarah. Exciting, right? Let's go. Pei Beis Amud Aleph, 3 lines into the page. Amar le Rav Huna le Rabba brei. So Rav Huna says to his son Rabba. I assume that that's Rabba brei de Rav Huna. I assume that's Rabba bar Rav Huna. So Rav Huna says to his son Rabba. So my time le shchichas kamei de Rav Chizda. How come you don't spend more time with Rav Chizda? Demchad dan shmaite. He's very sharp. So Rabba bar Rav Huna said to his father Rav Huna, my ezil legabe, why should I go to Rav Chizda? The chiazilna legabe, mostly b'mila de'alma. Because whenever I go visit Rav Chizda, he's just talking about mundane things. Amarli, manda ayleves akise lo leisiv behedya v'lo litrach tfei. And Rabba gave an example of one of these just mundane, seemingly not Torah-related matters, which is somebody goes to the bathroom, shouldn't immediately try to defecate, and don't try too hard, because the rectum is held in place by 3 muscles of sorts. And if you are not careful, if you start going to the bathroom too quickly or try too forcefully, well then you can somehow dislocate these muscles, and that will create issues. To which Rav Huna said, Rav Chizda is talking about the most important things, and you are saying that they're just mundane issues. Clearly, you have a lot to learn. You should be hanging out with Rav Chizda more. So if there were in front of him a rock, a stone, and some earthenware, so what do you guys think? What should he use, the rock or the earthenware? So Mistama from yesterday, it would sound like he should use the rock, right? There was that machlokas with Rabbi Yochanan. Well, not the machlokas, it was a statement of Rabbi Yochanan that if he has the option between earthenware or a rock, he should go for the rock, right? So it's a machlokas. So, and it's talking about on Shabbos. Okay, so it's Shabbos. He has the option either for shtickle earthenware or shtickle rocks. So, Rav Huna Amar, mekaneach b'tzor ve'mekaneach b'cheres. So Rav Huna says that he should wipe himself with a stone, a rock, rather than using the earthenware, because it is dangerous. Okay. Rav Chizda Amar mekaneach b'cheres ve'mekaneach b'tzor. Rav Chizda says actually better that you should use a earthenware rather than a rock, and because the earthenware is a kli. That was like how that's how Rav Nosson bar Oshaya wanted to explain the Havamina of Rabbi Yochanan yesterday. Rabbi Yochanan said yesterday that you should favor the rock rather than the earthenware, but I may have had the Havamina to say that actually you should favor the earthenware, because since it's a kli, maybe it would be a better option on Shabbos in terms of it not being muksa, to which Rabbi Yochanan said you should go with the rock nonetheless, whereas Rav Chizda seems to be saying that you should actually favor the earthenware because it's a kli. So meisvei, but we have a contradiction against Rav Huna, who says you should use the rock. What does this contradictory brisa say? If a fellow finds that he has an option either to use a rock or some earthenware, Shataka use the earthenware. So, Tiyuf to Rav Huna. That sounds like we have a brisa arguing on Rav Huna. That means big trouble for Rav Huna. What's he going to do? So Tirgama, Rafim by Papa Kamed Rav Chizda Libed Rav Huna. So Rafim by Papa explained before Rav Chizda how you can explain Rav Huna's opinion. Rav Huna said that you should favor the rock. Yet we have this brisa that's saying that you should favor the earthenware. Be'ogne kelim. So you could say that brisa is talking about with like smooth earthenware that you don't have to worry about cutting yourself or what's it called? Presenting a hazard. So you don't have to worry about that. So therefore, in that case, sure, you would favor the earthenware because after all, it is a kli as opposed to a rock, which would be purely muktzah. The only reason why you'd be allowed to use the rock would be because of kavod habrios. But if you have the option to use a smooth kli where there's no issue of sakana, but what about kshafim? What about kshafim, friends? What do you have to say about witchcraft? Doesn't have to be concerned about witchcraft? What do you guys say? What do you guys say? What about the witchcraft? What about the witchcraft? I don't know. According to this brisa, we seem to not be concerned about that, right? Go for the pottery if it is smooth and won't hurt you. If he had an option either for rocks or for grass. Okie dokie. Rav Chizda Rav Amnuna. One of them says you should use the rock, you should not use the grass. And the other opinion is that you should use the grass, you should not use the rock. Now we ask a kasha on the mandam who says you should favor the grass. Somebody who wipes himself with something that is flammable, that you can light on fire. Well, then these muscles that are holding your rectum in place are going to be, something's going to happen to them. Something bad. I don't know. No shros doesn't mean like to fall out. Your muscles will fall out. Maybe become like dislocated. Something, something that would create complications. So, don't do that. So how could we have an opinion that says to use grass if grass is flammable and flammable stuff causes complications? So lakasha bolachana biyavation depends. If the grass is moist, well then it won't be very flammable. So then you can use it. When it says not to use flammable stuff, so that if the grass is dry, it's flammable. I did see in the art school that Lamaisa there's a shaila about toilet paper because toilet paper is flammable. So you guys should use rocks instead. Right? Stay away from machlokas, just use rocks. I don't know. Apparently toilet paper is okay. Apparently. I don't know. Let's go weiter. Somebody needs to defecate, but he doesn't do it. So somebody says you're going to get bad breath. Somebody says you're going to get body odor. Mitaka have a brisa supporting the notion that you'll get body odor. Titania, as we learn in a brisa, there's a brisa that we've seen before. On daf mem aleph amud aleph. Somebody needs to go to the bathroom, and instead he doesn't go to the bathroom, but he just eats more. Doma l'saner shisikua al gav efro. It's similar to a oven that you meaning instead of sweeping out the oven and then adding more fuel, you just add fuel on top of that. Vizohi tchilas ruach zuama, and this is the beginning of bad body odor. Hutzach lipanos v'enu yachol lipanos. What if you have a fellow who's constipated? So Amar Rav Chizda, so says the holy Rav Chizda, Yamud v'yeshev. So he should do epis squats. Should get up, sit down, get up, sit down. That will help him. Rav Chanan min Arda Amar, says the holy Rav Chanan min Arda, Yistalik l'tzadin. You should try moving to a different place, and then moving around, just kind of like walking to that other place will hopefully help him out, loosen whatever muscles need to be loosened. Rav Amnuna Amar Yimashmesh b'tzor b'osamakom. Rav Amnuna says that you should take a stone, a rock, and kind of move it around, rub it around by your rectum, I guess, to try to loosen up the muscles, and hopefully that will help. Rabbanan Amar Yasiach Daito. Rabbanan say just think about something else. So Amar le Rav Acha b'Rav le Rav Ashi. So Says Rav Acha B'Rava to Rav Ashi, Kol sheken dechi masach da'ati lo mafne. 1 second. The thing that he should be doing, if he's constipated, should be focusing on trying to go to the bathroom. If he just starts thinking about other things, certainly then he won't be able to go to the bathroom. He should focus on going to the bathroom. So, Amar Lei, so Rav Ashi answered Rav Acha B'Rava, Yasiach daitu midvar macher. No, what it means is he should stop thinking about other things, and he should specifically focus on trying to go to the bathroom. Amar Rav Yirmiyah Midifti, says the holy Rav Yirmiyah Midifti, Lediti chazli ahu taya'a. I saw Epis a Arab. To come v'yasif, so he did the squatting advice, like Rav Chista. I guess he was constipated, and he was getting up and sitting down. Adishafach kiktera. Interesting. And then the excrement just poured out of him like a pot. Wow. Okay. Tanu Rabbanan, Hanichnas Sudas Keva. Somebody who goes to somebody's going to like a meal, a fancy meal. So he doesn't want to have to go to the bathroom during the meal. This came up in Gemara Brachos, right? Right. Chaf Gimel Mud Beis. Somebody's going to a fancy meal. He's not going to have to go to the bathroom during the meal, especially because they probably didn't have indoor plumbing. Imagine if you had to go to the bathroom, so you had to mamish leave the city in order to go to the bathroom. So he didn't want to have to excuse himself for an hour, which is crazy, right? Just to go to the bathroom was such a whole thing. So Yahalik Yud Paimim Shel Arba Amis. So you should walk 10 times 4 Amis. V'amrila Dalad Paimim Shel Eser Amis. Some say you should walk 10 Amis 4 times. V'nifne, defecate, v'nichnas v'yeshiv mkomo, and then go inside and sit down and eat. Well, friends, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something there. Yeah. Let's go weiter, friends. New Mishnah. Cheres k'dei litein bein patzim lachavero to Rabbi Yehuda. Cheres says, Rabbi Yehuda says that you're chayav on Shabbos for taking out enough earthenware that you can put between. So if you have a stack, if you're stacking up beams and stuff like that, so you would separate between the layers of beams so that they don't, maybe rot or somehow get messed up. You would put some kind of earthenware in between each layer to kind of let some air and some space to get in. Okay? So the size of earthenware that you would use to put between these layers of beams is the minimum amount that you would be chayav for taking out the Rishus Harabim on Shabbos. Rabbi Meir Omer says, Rabbi Meir k'dei lachtos bo es ha'or, enough earthenware that to make a vessel large enough that you would be able to stick into a fire to remove a coal. Rabbi Yossi Omer k'dei lekabel bo revius. Rabbi Yossi says it would have to be large enough to hold a revius of water. Amar Rabbi Meir, af al pishin rai l'davar zeicher l'davar. So Rabbi Meir says, even though I can't prove to you that I'm right, even though I can't prove to you that kli cheres has to be large enough to remove a coal from a fire, but I can kind of bring you an illusion from a pasuk in Yeshaya, lo yimatze b'mchitaso cheres lachtos eish mi yakud. So this was like a threat, or just saying that, what was it? Maybe the base of Midrash was going to be destroyed. Something was going to be destroyed, and it was going to be destroyed so badly that you won't even be able to find earthenware the size that you can take out a coal from a fire. Meaning that's how badly things are going to be destroyed. Amar lo Rabbi Yossi mishamraya v'lachsof mayim migeva. Rabbi says, Rabbi Yossi, whose shear was pottery the size to be able to take out a revius of water, responds to Rabbi Meir and he says, seriously, you're bringing a proof from that pasuk to say that the minimum shear for pottery is to be able to take out a coal? If you would just read another few words in the pasuk, it says v'lachsof mayim migeva, and to take water from a pit where there was water in it. So Rabbi Yossi wants to argue that the minimum shear is going to be the size to take out water. Says the Gemara, misvara shiur de Rabbi Yossi nafish. Now, if we just use our minds and we look at the Mishnah and we say, okay, so let's just think for a second. Rabbi Meir says the minimum shear of earthenware is enough to remove a coal from a fire. And then we say, okay, cool. Now the minimum shear for Rabbi Yossi is enough to remove a revius of water. And then we ask ourselves, which one is larger? A earthenware some earthenware to remove a coal, or earthenware to remove a revius of water. So Gemara says, look, logically speaking, we would assume that Rabbi Yossi's shi'ur is larger, that the amount of earthenware to create a kli that you will remove water with will be a larger kli than to remove a coal. However, umikra shi'ur de Rabbi Meir nafish. However, if we contemplate the pasuk, it would make sense to argue that Rabbi Meir's shi'ur is larger. How come? Because the pasuk is saying that there's going to be such bad destruction that you won't be able to find earthenware large enough to hold a coal. Not only that, you won't even be able to find earthenware large enough to hold water. Right? Meaning it would make sense logically that if you're saying, it's going to be so bad that X, not only that, it's going to be so bad that even Y, Y is going to be more extreme. And it's more extreme to say that, even a smaller thing you won't be able to locate. So it would make sense. So logically speaking, it would make sense that Rabbi Yossi's shear of the earthenware to hold a revius would be larger than Rabbi Meir's shear of earthenware to hold a coal. However, from the order of events in the pasuk, it would sound like Rabbi Meir's shear of a coal is larger than Rabbi Yossi's shear of a revius, just from the order that they are listed in the pasuk. That Rabbi Meir's shear of a coal is listed first, followed by Rabbi Yossi's shear of water. So the Isak Adaitech says the Gemara, if it enters your mind, shi'ura de Rabbi Yossi nafish, that Rabbi Yossi's shear of the water, which comes second in the pasuk, is larger. Well, layit la b'mana zutra v'adar layit la b'mana rabba. Would that make any sense? That first the pasuk is expressing in its curse that you're not going to be able to find a smaller thing, and you're not even going to be able to find a larger thing. I mean, obviously, if you're not going to find a smaller thing, you're not going to find a larger thing. So it has to make sense that the larger one comes first. So Amar Abaye masnisa nami lachtos eish mikida gedola. So no, you can also explain Rabbi Meir in our Mishnah that when he says that the minimum shi'ur for earthenware is to take out a coal from a flame, it's talking about not just a regular fire, but a big fire, and you're going to need a bigger kli in order to get close to the fire and be able to take something out. You're going to require a larger kli. So also Rabbi Meir is talking about a larger shear in our Mishnah. When he says pottery large enough to take out a coal from fire, it means from like a big fire that you're going to need a bigger kli for. Let's go weiter. Rabbi Yossi Omer Misham Raya. Rabbi Yossi says, really Rabbi Meir, you're going to prove it from the part of the pasuk that's talking about taking a coal out from the fire. If you read on, the pasuk is talking about also taking out a revius of water. So Shapir Ka'amrle Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yossi has a good argument against Rabbi Meir. Why? Because Rabbi Yossi is saying, look, Lemaise, the pasuk is saying that you can use earthenware to take out water. And if Lemaise, you could take out earthenware to put water in it, well, clearly it's usable and it has a purpose. And if it's usable, has a purpose at that smaller size, well then it should be considered a clean. You should be chayav for taking it out on Shabbos, right? So, how could Rabbi Meir explain himself and defend his position of the larger shear of taking out coals from fire, if there's an even smaller shear of taking out water in this earthenware that's also usable, and if it's functional, well then it should be chayav at that size. So Reb Meir lomi ba'iya ka'amar. No, so Reb Meir explains the pasuk in the following way, that it's saying like not only this but even that. Lomi ba'iya midi dechashiv leinshe til lishtekach le. Right? Not only things that are important for people will not be able to be found because of the destruction, right? The destruction is going to be so bad that these things that people need, like earthenware vessels to, move around coals in a fire, but even things that aren't important, right? Simply earthenware vessels that you can maybe take out a little bit of water in it, not so important. So even that you won't be able to find. But the point is, they're not important and it's not going to be significant, right? Of course, when it comes to taking out something on Shabbos, you're only chayav if it's chashuv. So Reb Meir is arguing that even though sure the pasuk is saying that things are going to be so bad that you won't be able to find this earthenware that you can put water in it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's significant, that it's chashuv, that people care that much. It's just saying how bad the destruction is going to be. However, earthenware vessels that you can put coals in them are more chashuv And that's where you're going to be chayav for taking that out on Shabbos. Hadran alach hamotzi yayin. We will come back to you. Perek hamotzi yayin. And now we begin the 9th Perek of Masechta Shabbos. Amar Rabbi Akiva. Oh, says the very, very holy Rabbi Akiva, minayin la'avodah zarah shemitama b'masa kinida. How do we know that avodah zarah is mitame b'masa? If you pick up a getchke, if you pick up a little idol, so you are going to be tameh, like a nida. If you pick up a nida, you will be tameh as well. Okay. Shnei as the pasuk says in the context of avodah zarah in Sefer Yeshaya, Tizreim kimodava, scatter the avodah zarah, just like you would want to stay away from a nida who is tameh. Say tomar lo, and you will say to this avodah zarah, go away. I guess this day and age we don't really have Tumah and Tara like we used to. So I guess the relationship between nidas and non-nidas, when Tumah and Tara, there was a lot more separation. Okay. Manida matam b'masa, af avodah zarah matam b'masa, and just like nida is mitame b'masa, right? If you carry a nida, you will be tameh. So av avodah zarah mitame b'masa. Also, if you carry avodah zarah, you will be tameh, right? Because of course, there's different types of tumas. There's tumas maga, if you just touch something, versus if you carry something, if you sit on something, all sorts of stuff. So we're saying that avodah zarah isn't tameh just by touching it. It's tameh additionally if you were to carry it. Okay, fine. Tanan awesome. We learn over there in Masechta avodah zarah. Mishaya koslo, right? The Agosabach changes beso to koslo. Mishaya koslo samach la'avodah zarah v'nafal, and it fell down. Asur levnoso, you can't build it. Kitzad yaisa konis l'soch shelo arba amos uvone. You should bring it 4 amos into his house and build it. What does that mean? It means that imagine you are in an apartment building, okay, and you live in one apartment, and your next door neighbors is in a avodah zarah sanctuary. So you share a wall. Now that wall falls down. Okay. So now I think actually this context is where you're not technically sharing the wall, but like the wall like is yours, like on your property. But at the end of the day, it does serve your property as well as the other property, and then that wall falls down. Now here's the thing: if you rebuild it, so you're not only going to be benefiting yourself, you're going to be benefiting the avodah zarah apartment as well. So what do you do? So the suggestion is that you rebuild it, but 4 amos into your house, so that it's certainly 100% on your property. And the concern about benefiting avodah zarah, well, I guess it's probably still true, but at least you're 100% doing it all on your property, not connected to theirs. So let's read that again. So mishaya koslo samach la'avodah zarah. If you have a wall that is near of avodah zarah, near like an avodah zarah like sanctuary, so if enough on the wall falls down, asur levnoso, you're not allowed to rebuild it. Because you're going to be benefiting the avodah zarah sanctuary. Ketzad yaisa. So what should you do? Konis l'soch shelo arba amos. So he can, go into his property 4 amos, uvona, and then build the wall there. Hayashelo v'shel avodah zarah. What if the wall was owned 50% by him and 50% by avodah zarah? So nidon mechza al mechza. So you split it in half, right? Half of it is considered avodah zarah, half of it is considered yours. Okay. Exactly. So says Rashi, Nidon mechza al mechza. It is the second Rashi on the page. Mechza shelo nechsheves be'arba amos shel knisa lefi shechivu chacham lachiko mishelo arba amos uliikanes kula b'soch shelo. Right. So the Rabbanan said, of course, as we just said a minute ago, that when he reconstructs the wall, it has to be within his property, 4 amos into his property. So what we're saying is that if half of the wall belongs to him and half of the wall belongs to avodah zarah, so then you're allowed to count the half of the wall that belongs to you as part of the 4 amos that you're going inside of your house. You don't have to start counting 4 amos after the wall starts. You can include that half that belongs to you. Okay. Now the Gemara says, the Gemara quotes the Mishnah of avodah zarah is saying, "Avon ve'etzav ve'afarav," it's stones, it's wood, and it's dirt. Mitamim kisheretz. Okay, here we go. So this is our discussion now, right? So it's stones and it's wood and it's dirt are mitame like a sheretz is mitame. Okay, now a sheretz, generally speaking, is mitame b'maga. If you touch a sheretz, you will be tame. But if you carry a sheretz while not touching it, you will not become tame to a sheretz like that. It says in the context of avodah zarah, it says you shall shaketz to shaketzenu, which should be like a sheketz, which we understand to be like a sheretz. Okay, so Tanna Kama compares avodah zarah to a sheretz to say that it's mitame b'maga, and we'll see there are different opinions about how exactly to compare it to a sheretz. Rabbi Akiva Omer says, Rabbi Akiva kinida, that we compare avodah zarah to a nida, shene'amar, as the pasuk says, tizreim k'mo dava. Scatter avodah zarah, just like a nida, as we quoted in our Mishnah, ma nida mitama b'masa, just like nida is mitame b'masa. If one were to carry a nida, they would become tameh. Af avodah zarah mitama b'masa. So similarly, avodah zarah, if you carry avodah zarah, you will become tameh. Fine. Amar Rabba, says Rabba, tizreim de amar kra. So when the pasuk says tizrim, that you should scatter the avodah zarah, nachrinu minach kizar, you should make them foreign to you, like a foreigner. Say tomar lo. So then he says kilu say tomar lo, you should say go away. Hikanes al tomar lo, don't say come near. Okay, fine. Now we're going to get the rest of the Gemara is going to be expressing a machlokas between Rabba and Rabbi Elazar, regarding how to understand the machlokas between the Tanna Kama and Rabbi Akiva. Okay? V'amar Rabba, says Rabba, b'masa d'choli alma lo plige d'mitama. Okay, so everyone, both the Tanna Kama and Rabbi Akiva agree that avodah zarah is mitame b'masa. Okay, everyone agrees. If you carry avodah zarah, you will be tameh. Okay. Because we have that pasuk that says tizreim k'mo dava, right? Because we have that pasuk that says scatter avodah zarah like you would distance yourself from a nida. So because we're comparing avodah zarah to a nida, so everyone agrees that just like a nida is mitama b'masa, so avodah zarah is mitama b'masa. Okay. Ki plige, where's the machlokas then between the Tanna Kama and Rabbi Akiva? Be'even misama. Machlokas is by an even misama. What is an even misama? An even misama is the following. Okay, let's say you have a big rock. Okay, now that rock is on stilts. Okay, now there's a few different manifestations apparently. Okay, one manifestation is you have let's say a nida is sitting on this even misama, and a nida is sitting on top of this big stone, this big rock that is supported by stilts. And then under the stone you have epis clothing, okay? Now, the clothing is lying on the floor, and there's space between the clothing and the rock. The rock is suspended on stilts, and you have a nida sitting on top of the rock. So now, on the one hand, the nida isn't actually sitting on this clothing, right? Meaning, because we know that a nida is mitame mishkav umoshav, right? Tumas midras, right? Anything that a nida sits on becomes an avatuma. So, however, in this case, you're not technically sitting on the clothing. You're sitting on the rock. The rock is suspended on stilts above the clothing, yet nonetheless, the clothing underneath it would become tameh. That is what even misama is. Apparently, also, interestingly, if you would, let's say, have whatever, if you would have like let's say a nida would actually sit on something, let's say sit on, like a cushion. Now that cushion becomes an avatuma. Then you put that cushion under the even misama, and then you have a tahor person sitting on top of the even misama. Apparently also the tahor person would become tameh, but let's not worry about that. Maybe I shouldn't have even said anything. Honestly, I'm not even 100%. I just read that in the art scroll, honestly, but I haven't seen that myself. However, but the first case I think we can consider, which is, right, basically you have a nida sitting on the even misama. You have a nida sitting on this big stone. Okay, the stone is suspended above something underneath it, right? And the stone is on stilts. This like garment, let's say, is on the floor. So we say that nonetheless the garment will become tameh, even though it's not actually touching anything that is touching the nida. Okay, now that, friends, is the machlokas between the Tanna Kama and the Chachamim and Rabbi Akiva. Okay, so the question is, to what extent do we compare avodah zarah to Evan Misama? Do we say that if you have avodah zarah on top of this stone that's on these stilts, then whatever is underneath the stone will become tameh, just like if a nida was sitting on the top of the stone? Or do we say no? While we compare avodah zarah to a nida to the extent that is mitame b'masa, by carrying it, we do not, however, compare it to a nida to the extent that if avodah zarah is on top of an Evan Misama, whatever is beneath the stone will become tameh. So let's see. So, Ki plige, says the Gemara, be'Evan Misama. The machlokas is by an Evan Misama. Rabbi Akiva savar kenida. Rabbi Akiva says that it is like a nida. Ma nida mitama be'Evan Misama. Af avodah zarah mitama be'Evan Misama. Just like a nida is mitame be'Evan Misama, that if she is sitting on this big rock, so whatever is underneath the rock will become tameh, even though it is not, mamish touching the rock. So also avodah zarah, if it was on top of the rock, it would be mitame what's underneath the rock. For Rabbanan Savre, whereas the rabbis hold, kisheretz, no, to that extent we compare it to a sheretz. Ma sheretz lo mitame be'Evan Misama, af avodah zarah lo mitame be'Evan Misama. Just like a sheretz is not mitame be'Evan Misama, if there is a sheretz on top of this stone, whatever is underneath the stone would not become tameh. So also avodah zarah, if it is on top of this stone, will not be mitame whatever is underneath it. Okay? So that's the machlokes between Rabbi Akiva and the Tanna Kama. Right? So everyone agrees that avodah zarah is mitame b'masa. The machlokas is if it's mitame be'Evan Misama. Rabbi Akiva says yes it is, because we compare it to nida, and the Chacham say no it is not, because we compare it to sheretz. With Rabbi Akiva, l'mayuchsa iskash sheretz. So new Rabbi Akiva, if that's the case, that we mamish compare avodah zarah to nida and say it's mitame b'masa, it's mitame be'Evan Misama. So why does the Torah bother saying shaketz to shaketzenu? Why does the Torah bother comparing avodah zarah to a sheretz at all? In what way is it similar to a sheretz? So my answer is l'mishamsheh. For the tools that you use to service the avodah zarah, these secondary objects that aren't avodah zarah itself, but they're tools that you use to serve it, so they will be mitame b'maga if you touch them like a sheretz. That is what Rabbi Akiva learns from the comparison of avodah zarah to sheretz. So according to the Rabbanan, how come we compare avodah zarah to the Tumah of a nida? Lamasa? Is it to teach us simply that it's mitame b'masa, just like a nida is mitame b'masa? But v'lukshu achman l'nevela. If that's the case, then why don't you just compare the Tumah of avodah zarah to a nevela? Nevela, after all, what's nevela? Nevela is an animal that just died, and was, it wasn't shechted. It died. Okay, whether it died or you killed it some other way other than shchita. So we say that nevela is mitame, not just b'maga, not just if you touch it, but also if you carry it. But it is not mitame be'Evan Misama. So nu chachamim, Tanna Kama, if you want to argue that avodah zarah is mitame, if you touch it, if you carry it, but not be'Evan Misama, so why compare it to nida? Just compare it to nevela. That would be a perfect option. The Gemara says enachinami. He says you're right. That would be a good option to compare it to nevela. However, there's a reason why we did not compare it to nevela. However, there's a reason why we compare avodah zarah to nida rather than nevela. Because let's say I have a dead animal lying there on the floor, and I cut off its leg. Well, that leg will still be mitame b'masa, right? It will still have the same tumas nevela, even if I remove one leg. Well, guess what? If you remove a leg from a nida, I don't recommend doing that. It's probably not a good idea for lots of reasons. But if it does somehow happen, so that leg would not be mitame tumas nida anymore. And the same thing applies to avodah zarah. That if you have an avodah zarah, a getchke, a little idol, and you remove, let's say, an arm from this idol, it will not be mitame for avodah zarah anymore. Vela Dabai Rav Chama Bar Guria avodah zarah yeshna leivarin or ena leivarin. But one second, Rav Chama Bar Guria is going to ask tomorrow on Daf Pei Gimel Amud Beis, does avodah zarah, is there avodah zarah for limbs or not? Kilu, if I would take a getchke and I would remove a arm from it, so would it be mitame or not? Well, what's the question? Tifshot le mehad l'Rabbanan ena leivarin. Just learn it out that according to the Rabbanan, we say that avodah zarah is not leivarim. So, right, why does Rav Chama Bar Guria need to ask that? Like, clearly the Rabbanan say that we compare avodah zarah to nida specifically to learn that avodah zarah is not leivarim. So Rav Chama Bar Guria alibid Rabbi Akiva ba'ila. Rav Chama Bar Guria was specifically asking according to Rabbi Akiva, right? According to Rabbi Akiva, we compare avodah zarah to a nida to say that avodah zarah is mitame b'masa. Avodah zarah is even mitame be'evan misama. And what Rav Chama Bar Guria wants to say, do we take it a step further and say that we also compare avodah zarah to nida to say that just like a nida is not mitame le'ivarim, also avodah zarah is not mitame le'ivarim? Or do we say that no? That is where Rabbi Akiva concludes his comparison, and he says, sure, avodah zarah is mitame b'masa, avodah zarah is mitame be'evan misama. However, avodah zarah would also be mitame le'ivarim, right? We don't compare it to a nida regarding that. That is what Rav Chama Bar Guria wants to know on Daf Pei Gimel Amud Beis. Okay, so that was Rabba's take on the machlokas between Tanna Kama and the Chachamim and Rabbi Akiva. Right? Tanna Kama says, right? According to Rabba, everyone agrees that avodah zarah is mitame b'masa. The machlokas is avodah zarah mitame also be'evan misama. Tanna Kama says, no, it is not. Rabbi Akiva says, yes, it is. Now here comes Rabbi Lazar. Rabbi Lazar Amar said, Rabbi Lazar, be'evan misama nuchuli amalo pligi de lo mitama. Okay, says Rabbi Lazar that everyone agrees that avodah zarah is not mitame be'evan misama. No chance. Not even Rabbi Akiva. Ki pligi, what's the machlokas? B'masa. The question is avodah zarah mitame b'masa? If you carry avodah zarah, will you become tame? Rabbi Akiva savar kinida. Rabbi Akiva says, well, we compare it to a nida. Manida mitama b'masa. Just like if you carry a nida, you will become tame. Af avodah zarah mitama b'masa. So also avodah zarah, if you carry avodah zarah, you will be mitame b'masa. Rabbanan savar kisheretz. Whereas the Rabbanan compare avodah zarah to a sheretz. Masheretz lo mitame b'masa. Just like a sheretz is not mitame b'masa, only b'maga, af avodah zarah lo mitame b'masa. So also avodah zarah is not mitame b'masa. Okay? Rabbi Akiva l'mayochsa iskash l'sheretz. So according to Rabbi Akiva, how can we compare avodah zarah to sheretz? If we're saying that avodah zarah is mitame b'masa, why compare it to sheretz? So l'misham shel, the answer is for the those kalim that kind of you use to service the avodah zarah, those will be mitame only b'maga but not b'masa. Okay. According to Abanan, how come we're comparing avodah zarah to a nida? If it's not mitame b'masa, and obviously it's also not mitame b'evan misama, so in what way is avodah zarah similar to nida? Why are we comparing it to nida? So manida ein leivarim af avodah zarah ein leivarim. Well, just like nida is not leivarim, a detached limb from a nida will not have tumas nida, while also a detached limb from a getchke will not have tumas avodah zarah. Okay. Rabbi Akiva, l'mayochsa iskash lenida. According to Rabbi Akiva, how come we compare avodah zarah to a nida? Limasa? What? Just to say that it's mitame b'masa? It's mitame if you carry it? Well, look shele nevela. Well, why don't you then just compare avodah zarah to nevela? Right? Nevela is mitame b'masa, and it's not mitame be'evan misama. Isn't that perfect for Rabbi Akiva, who says that it's mitame b'masa but not be'evan misama? So enachinami, the Gemara says yes. Theoretically, that would work. Ella, however, ma nida ena leivarin af avodah zarah ena leivarin. That Rabbi Akiva, however, Rabbi Akiva holds that just like a nida Tumas Nida does not apply to detached limbs. Also, avodah zarah does not apply to detached limbs. Ella hadabai Rav Chama Bar Guria avodah zarah yeshna levarim or ena levarim. But one second, on Pegim Lamed Beis, Rav Chama Bar Guria asks, does Tumas avodah zarah apply to detached limbs of getchkas? So, right, of little idols. So tifshud le meha bein l'Rabbanan bein l'Rabbi Akiva. So why doesn't, shouldn't he already know his answer? Both according to Rabbi Akiva and according to the Rabbanan, the answer is that Tumah of avodah zarah does not apply to detached limbs of getchkas. So the Gemara answers, right? Bein l'Rabbanan bein l'Rabbi Akiva de'ena levarim. Rav Chama Bar Guria kirabba masni uvayla alibud Rabbi Akiva. So the Gemara answers, Rav Chama Bar Guria, when he asks his question about is avodah zarah levarim or not, he's understanding the machlokas between the Tanakama and Rabbi Akiva to be like the way that Rabbah understands it, that everyone agrees that avodah zarah is mitame b'masa. The machlokas is by Evan Misama. And what Rav Chama Bar Guria is asking is, according to Rabbi Akiva, who says that we compare avodah zarah to nida to say that it's mitame b'masa and be'evan misama, does he also extend that comparison to say that also avodah zarah is not mitame le'evarim? Or maybe he would say that avodah zarah would be mitame le'evarim and he would not compare it to nida regarding that. Well, friends, Daf Pei Beis of Masechta Shabbos. Woo woo. Let's do a recap. Okay, so the daf began with more bathroom discussions. I won't go into too much detail there, or any detail there. Then we talked about taking out earthenware. We had a three-way machlokas. We had Rabbi Akiva, who says it's enough earthenware to put like between layers of beams. We had Rabbi Meir's opinion, who says that it's enough to take out a coal from a fire. We had Rabbi Yossi's opinion, who says that it needs to be large enough to take out a revius of water. Okay? And then we started, we concluded the 8th Perek of Masechta Shabbos. We began the 9th Perek of Masechta Shabbos, which has been talking about the Tumah of avodah zarah. Okay? And we say that the Chacham compare the Tumah of avodah zarah to, right, the Tanakama / Chacham compare the Tumah of avodah zarah to Tumah of a sheretz, as the Pasuk says, shaketz to shaktzenu. And Rabbi Akiva compares the Tumah of avodah zarah to the Tumah of a nida, as the Pasuk says, tizreim, what does it say? Tizreim kimo dava? Yeah. Fine. So, and then we had a machlokas between Rabbah and Rabbi Elazar in terms of how to understand the machlokas between the Tanakama and Rabbi Akiva. According to Rabbah, both the Tanakama and Rabbi Akiva agree that avodah zarah will be mitame b'masa. The machlokas is avodah zarah also mitame be'evan misama? Okay? According to the Chachamim, avodah zarah is not mitame be'evan misama. According to Rabbi Akiva, avodah zarah is mitame be'evan misama. Now, according to Belazar, the machlokas, right? Everyone, both the Tanakama and Rabbi Akiva, agree that avodah zarah is not mitame be'evan misama. The machlokas is avodah zarah mitame b'masa or not? The Tanakama says it is not, because we compare it to a sheretz. Rabbi Akiva says it is mitame b'masa because we compare it to a nida. Zeu, friends, that is Daf Pei Beis of Masechta Shabbos. Hope everybody enjoyed, and have a great day or night or whatevs. Peace.